Hello and welcome to Elvenhome, and to this edition which concentrates entirely on the build of the quarry face and getting that to a position where all the background work is done on it, though not all the scenic stuff that will go on top, but which does give us a quarry face in place at High Elven. I wasn't able to get two of my past running session videos in the last edition, and I still have the layout covered, so I'm using them in this edition just to break up the work. So we'll go to one of those now, and then you'll go and see where I was at the beginning of this week, after I spent a week living with what I thought would be the final look of that part of the quarry face. So, speak to you again towards the end of the video. At the end of the last video, I showed you with this top piece supported in place. The bottom piece was there with two holders, and said that I would be getting on with doing this cliff face and then moving on to complete this last section round here, which is still the order of play, but there's more of a connection between this piece, finishing this piece, and getting this than I perhaps realised. But to get to this piece, it's now the 6th of November today, and I've been living with this in situ. First, just the loose pieces together. I then carved the pieces and put them in there. And yesterday I glued them together because I was happy, having spent almost a week with them, that this is what I want to do. Because it would have been a terrible shame to have done all of that and then thought after I painted everything up, oh, I don't like it, but I do like it, so that's a good thing. Now, I said that this has to be able to be removable to give me access under the board, because it's not my intention to have to lift this up very much, if at all. It really would be pretty extreme, and pretty much if I had to get under to do something, replace a light or replace a point motor. So this is capable of coming off as a single piece. It's quite a tight fit here for obvious reasons. But as you can see, that comes up as one piece, and that will give me access from all the way here, all the way around, which will allow me to get to pretty much anything I want to under the board, and even to the back of the tunnels that run underneath here in the event that I can't retrieve a recalcitrant train from under the tunnel itself. The approach was exactly the same. Let's get the glare off this so you can see a bit better. It's made entirely by using quite small files, flat files, and using the edge of them. Initially, I was only using, which is when I was working more on these bottom ones, a flat file which also was entirely square, so like an oblong piece of file. And I found that it's very regular and it does the job. But I then started using one of the files where one side was slightly curved. And that was quite useful because it gave variations of depth as it was being used. And for the top one in particular, I was concerned that it wasn't too sharp, because this is supposed to be a quarry that was abandoned 120 years prior to the time in which the layout is set. So time and weather will have done had their way, would have done their work with the rock and allowed it to soften. So the next thing for me to do on this will be to paint it, which is what I hope to get on and do tomorrow, although I've got a trip to the dentist, so we'll see how that goes. But one thing that is clear to me is that because I've got the anchor point here, this slots in very nicely, but I've got to work out how I'm going to fit it around here. It's possible I might remove some of this bit here, depends how I fit it in. And I've got to work that out in order to be able to get to finalize this, because again, it's got to be in a way where when I lift this up, it comes up and it doesn't get jagged with what's underneath. So I'll be thinking about that as I'm beginning to paint this. So it's possible, though I'm not sure by the end of this video, that I will have actually started doing some of the work here. What I have got to do before I absolutely finish around here is think about getting this track permanently fixed in, because this is a fixture. This is not intended to move. So once I've worked out how I'm going to completely fill this in, I will probably build the tunnel entrance here and this section and get that done, and then finish off with this section there. At least that is the current plan. But it's not that much more to be done, and I can see my way to completing that. But the next thing is to get on and get this painted up. I'll try and take some footage as I'm doing it. We'll see how well that goes. But it'll be the same process as this, except that I'll be adding some more, because I've not done any real weathering to this. It's all been paint or washes. And as I said in the last video, that's the colour. This effect is what I'm going for in the end. I think that will look quite good over that distance. And that's using some of the wood, the WWS moss weathering powder, which gives a lovely green tinge, and I think that will look quite good sat in there. So that's where I am, and no doubt I'll come back when I've start doing the painting, and then you can see what it looks like once it's finished and on the layout or painted. Well, as you can see, it's in place, having completed the work. I wanted to show this in natural light. The recording that I did was done at different times in the day, and for uniformity I therefore recorded it all under an LED light, which made everything look very much lighter than it really was. When I look back on the footage, some of it I thought, my God, that's never going to darken down, but it has, and I'm really pleased with it. Whether I might put a bit more black on, I don't know. After I completed the last section that you saw, I have sealed it all with a matte spray, and I might go on and darken down some of the green, but I'm not sure that I will. And also, the thing to remember is this is the base on which I will be putting some foliage, not a lot, because obviously you wouldn't have too many things growing out of the shearer face, but certainly it's my intention to put quite a bit along here, which over 120 years is likely to have grown. Maybe a bit less so along the face, but I'll go back to my my photographs that I got from Google about various types of quarry face, and frankly pretty much anything you can think of you can find a prototype for. So I'll have a look at that in a bit when I come to do the completing the scenic work across the top. That's not properly down in place. There we go. Because I'll be using foliage to cover the gap here, and I know how I'm going to do it with some of the stuff that I've used down here and over in the corner here, which is like weeds. So I'll put a row of the weeds along the inner board and then another row along the outer board, one overlapping the other, to hide the join there, because there's going to be a join however I do it, and this will be much easier. I'll do the same thing here, but that I won't get onto until I've completed the work on the other side. So that pretty much is as far as I've got over the last few weeks, largely because of that waiting a good week to be satisfied that I liked the general look of these three things together in white. One of the reasons that I did the panning shot is, and I sort of keep saying it, that there was a time when there was a lot of this white foam showing. And that's it now. That is the last bit of white foam anywhere on the layout. And my intention, by the time of the next video, which I'll talk about in a moment, when that's likely to come out, is to have completed all of this so that I can run trains again. There's no point taking all this off. I did think about doing a running session for this video, but there's just no point because I've still got more work to do here. And anyway, I've got the work to do over there. So more of this is going to get covered in to protect what's there already. That will be taken out completely while I do the next bit of work, because I don't want to mar this by sticking plaster all over it. But we're pretty close, I think. So the last bit of work to be done is that section of track has to go in and the bridge be firmly stuck in and then be ballasted. The piece around here has to be built up, and I'll work out how I'm going to fit it in here. I think I know how I'm going to do it pretty easily now. And the hillside put on, and the same treatment as has been given to this will go on to there, and that will complete all of that stuff. At the same time, the hillside will come down and this will then be fixed. Maybe not with this version, I may make a slightly stronger one, but that will allow me also to complete it round here as well, and then I'll know exactly where all the bits of the canal are going to go, or the stuff around the canal basin is going to go, and we can really get on with creating the canal basin, the canal, and putting the PVA in, which I'm going to be using as the water for that part. The next video is going to be in 3 weeks' time, because a fortnight tomorrow, because I'm recording this on Thursday the 9th, yes, 9th of November. I'll be on my way down to Whalley, I hope. Every time I try to travel on either the east or west coast, something or someone tries to get in the way of it. But I have contingency plans, so I am expecting to be at Whalley for both days, currently planned. There's already a few that that may be there as well. If you do see me at Whalley, please come up and say hello. It'd be nice to meet some of, particularly if you're those who comment on my videos, because it really would be nice to meet up with some of you. And I mean, I just love the Whalley exhibition. It's just 2 days of absolute fun, and I've got my eye on a few things to buy. I think the new Bachmann Club Ivet in LMS, I know that never ran in that colour in either LMS or BR days, and only in preservation. But that's true of my Royal Scot, which is in LMS maroon, and I rather like LMS maroon. They do look good, so I suspect that will come home with me from Whalley. But otherwise, there's no point me trying to put a video out in the next fortnight, and I'll be able to show you anything that I've managed to buy at Whalley. And hopefully, if I get all the work done that I want to do, and giving myself 3 weeks should be enough, actually running on the layout, because it's been a while since trains have tripped around this layout, and that is not a good thing. So if you've liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. That really helps in getting it seen. And if you haven't subscribed, well, as I always say, please do subscribe, because it'd be great to have you along. And more important than anything else, if you've got any comments, please do let me have your comments. I will always welcome comments, and I enjoy responding to them. So we'll end as I ended last edition with another running session, just so you get to see some trains running. But hopefully in the next one, in 3 weeks' time, you'll be able to see more trains running, and newer ones. So until I speak to you again in 3 weeks' time, that's bye-bye from me. Bye-bye.